Men who achieve greatness never leave their most important choice to emotion. The selection of a woman determines whether you rise or fall. Many men discover this truth only after their dreams lie in ruins, their potential buried under years of draining relationships with the wrong partner. The secret strategies of selection remain hidden from most, but throughout history, wise men followed Machiavellian principles to identify women who build empires versus those who collapse them. Your friends will not tell you these truths. Your father might not know them, and society rewards those who keep you blind to this reality. The principles you are about to learn separate men who create legacies from those who become cautionary tales. There exist only two categories of women in relation to a man's life: force multipliers and force dividers. No third option exists. No gray area. The woman you select either amplifies your strength, focus, and resources, or she steadily depletes them until nothing remains. Most dangerous are those who appear beneficial initially while carrying destructive patterns beneath the surface. Do not be fooled by temporary displays of support or affection. The true character of a woman emerges over time through consistent patterns of behavior, not isolated moments of charm. The first principle of selection demands that you evaluate substance over appearance. Countless men destroy their futures chasing beauty with empty character. A woman might possess striking physical appeal, but if her internal qualities lack depth, her values conflict with excellence, and her loyalty shifts with opportunity, you face certain decline. Machiavelli understood that appearances deceive while patterns reveal truth. The strategic man observes a woman through multiple situations before making his assessment. Pay attention to how she treats service workers. Notice her behavior when stressed. Watch how she speaks about others not present. These small moments expose her true nature far more than her practiced presentation. You must never select based on isolated encounters. The disciplined man studies a woman across various environments. He notices what she does when no one watches. He observes her response to both abundance and scarcity. He analyzes her treatment of those who offer her nothing. The wise selector recognizes that these patterns predict how she will treat him once. The initial excitement fades. Selection requires patience and observation. The man who skips this process pays with years of his life. The second fundamental principle states that you must never choose a woman who rejects proper hierarchy. The order of life follows natural laws. Men who select women hostile to structure invite disorder into their foundations. If she views your leadership as oppression rather than organization, step away. If she undermines your direction instead of enhancing it, move on. If she questions your vision while offering no constructive alternative, continue your search. A woman aligned with natural order strengthens your position. A woman fighting against it guarantees conflict without end. Most men fail this test because they mistake challenge for compatibility. They believe that tension creates growth. This represents dangerous confusion. Constructive input strengthens decisions. Constant opposition weakens resolve. Learn to distinguish between a woman who improves your thinking and one who simply enjoys contradiction. The former adds value. The latter drains energy that belongs to your mission. The selection process eliminates women who cannot respect boundaries or understand proper structure. The third principle reveals that authority must never be compromised. Power represents a non-negotiable element in relationship dynamics. You either maintain it or surrender it. Most men unknowingly forfeit their authority through concepts like unlimited compromise, unconditional acceptance, and absolute equality in all decisions. These sound noble but function as traps. When a man surrenders his final authority, respect evaporates. Without respect, attraction dies. Without attraction, loyalty weakens. The sequence never varies. A simple test exposes a woman's view of your authority. Establish clear boundaries and observe her response. Does she respect your limits or attempt to break them? Does she honor your decisions or constantly challenge them? Does she support your standards or try to lower them? Her reaction reveals everything about your future with her. Women naturally test boundaries, not from malice, but from instinct. They seek assurance that you maintain strength. The moment you surrender authority to keep peace, you guarantee future conflict. Watch carefully how a woman handles periods of reduced stimulation. Every person presents their best during excitement, novelty, and reward. Character reveals itself during routine, stability, and delayed gratification. Does she create value during quiet moments, or does she manufacture drama to feel significant? Does she demonstrate patience through mundane periods, or does she seek constant entertainment and validation? The woman who cannot manage herself during ordinary times will create extraordinary problems during genuine challenges. Society tells men that a woman's past holds no relevance to her future. This dangerous falsehood has destroyed countless men. Patterns define character. Previous decisions predict future choices. A woman with a history of betrayal, impulsive behavior, or inconsistency carries these tendencies forward. The strategic selector examines past relationships, financial decisions, and commitment patterns. These reveal far more than promises or current behavior. Selection requires honest evaluation of established patterns, not hopeful projection of potential change. The fourth principle demands alignment of fundamental values. Your purpose drives your existence. Your mission defines your path. Your woman must either enhance this direction or be eliminated from consideration. If she mocks your discipline, remove her. If she diminishes your goals, continue searching. If she prioritizes temporary pleasure over lasting achievement, recognize the threat she poses. Shared values create compatible partnership. Conflicting values guarantee eventual breakdown. The selection process eliminates women whose core beliefs oppose your direction, regardless of other qualities they might possess. Never invest in a woman whose response to masculine strength shows contempt rather than appreciation. Women who broadly resent male nature will eventually resent your specific masculine traits. Listen carefully to how she speaks about men in her life, her father, brothers, previous partners. Does she acknowledge masculine contribution, or does she highlight only negative aspects of male behavior? Does she value protection and provision, or does she view these as tools of control? A woman carrying resentment toward masculine nature cannot fully embrace your strength. She may tolerate it temporarily, but will grow to resent it over time. The fifth principle states that a woman must fear losing your presence. This represents the fundamental law of value. Anything available, without condition, holds minimal worth. A woman who believes your commitment remains guaranteed, regardless of her behavior, will inevitably devalue your presence. This creates a dangerous dynamic where respect diminishes as comfort increases. The strategic man creates healthy uncertainty, not through manipulation but through maintained standards. He demonstrates willingness to walk away from unacceptable behavior. He values himself above temporary emotional comfort. The selection process requires testing this principle. Temporarily withdraw your attention and observe her response. Does she recognize your value and adjust? Or does she display entitlement and anger? Does she demonstrate appreciation when you return, or does she punish your absence? The woman who takes your presence for granted will eventually take everything else you offer. Selection eliminates women who fail to demonstrate appropriate value recognition. This might seem harsh initially, but prevents years of declining respect later. Most men execute poor selection because they believe their particular situation represents an exception. They recognize warning signs, but convince themselves that their Special connection overcomes fundamental incompatibility. They see concerning patterns, but believe their influence will change established behaviors. This fatal error stems from ego rather than strategy. You cannot transform a woman's nature. You cannot override her established patterns. You can only select correctly or pay the price of wishful thinking. Selection demands ruthless honesty about what exists, not fantasy about what might develop. The sixth principle mandates that a woman must demonstrate capability during your absence. The true test of character happens when supervision ends. Does she maintain standards when you cannot see her? Does she honor agreements without enforcement? Does she require constant monitoring to fulfill basic responsibilities? The woman dependent on your presence for basic function becomes a liability rather than an asset. She consumes resources rather than generating them. Selection favors women who maintain or increase value independently. It eliminates those requiring constant management. Your mission remains your highest priority. No woman on earth supersedes your purpose. The moment you elevate a relationship above your direction in life, you lose both. A woman properly values a man focused beyond her. She cannot respect a man who orbits her existence. The selection process eliminates women who demand centrality in your life. It favors those who support your direction while maintaining their own parallel path. Two strong individuals moving in compatible directions create partnership. Two people circling each other create stagnation. The final principle of selection examines loyalty under all conditions. Any woman can demonstrate faithfulness during optimal circumstances. Character reveals itself during challenges, temptations, and opportunities for betrayal without consequence. Does she maintain your reputation in your absence? Does she reject attention from other men without your knowledge? Does she uphold your shared standards without supervision or reward? The woman who fails these tests during selection will certainly fail them during marriage or long-term partnership. Loyalty cannot be negotiated or purchased. It exists as character or not at all. You must establish these tests before deep investment. The strategic man creates situations revealing true character before commitment occurs. He observes behavior across multiple environments. He notices patterns during stress, success, boredom, and opportunity. Selection happens through systematic evaluation, not emotional impulse. The disciplined selector recognizes that his future depends on accurate assessment now. He sacrifices immediate comfort for long-term security by maintaining rigorous standards. Take action now. Subscribe to this channel if you seek uncompromising truth about relationships and masculine strategy. Most content creators soften reality to maintain popularity. This channel delivers principles that build empires rather than platitudes that build false comfort. The path of selection separates men who create dynasties from those who merely survive. Each video provides another crucial element of strategic living. Subscribe now to continue your education in power, selection, and legacy building. Your standards determine your future. Most men today have been programmed to accept mediocrity in their relationships. They tolerate chaos, disrespect, and value extraction because they fear being alone. This represents the ultimate strategic error. The space occupied by the wrong woman prevents the right one from entering. Your willingness to walk away from incompatibility creates the prerequisite condition for finding compatibility. Selection happens not just through who you choose, but through who you eliminate from consideration. Every relationship you maintain reflects a choice you continue to make. The harsh reality remains that most women today do not qualify as proper partners for men of purpose. This statement triggers defensive responses, but strategic men recognize its truth. The modern environment creates women optimized for appearance, entertainment, and consumption rather than loyalty, support, and value generation. Selection requires enormous patience because worthy candidates exist in limited supply. The disciplined man would rather stand alone than align with a force divider. He recognizes that temporary solitude creates less damage than permanent drainage. You face a decision that defines your future. Either maintain ruthless standards in your selection process or accept the inevitable decline that follows compromise. Your assessment of women determines whether you build or destroy, whether you advance or retreat, whether you leave a legacy or simply leave regrets. The principles of Machiavellian selection separate men who master their circumstances from those who become victims of emotion. Choose wisely, select strategically. Subscribe now to continue mastering the dark arts of masculine strategy.